Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do chapter number 6, which is technical analysis. Okay, what we have done till now is the portfolio risk and return and security risk and return, and also the chapter number 1, which actually covered the basics of this particular subject. And in this particular unit, out of 3 parts, we have covered the first part in the previous video, and today we are going to cover the second part, which is the technical analysis. Now, what is technical analysis? Technical analysis is based on the basic assumption that you will be holding, shares for the short term. Because if you wanted to, hold your shares for the very long term, you were using the fundamental analysis. But now और यहाँ पे basic assumption was कि हम long term के लिए shares hold कर रहे हैं. But today we are going to have a assumption in our mind कि हम shares short term के लिए hold कर रहे हैं, and also that history repeat itself. Now what an investor do when an investor want to invest, let's say he has listed these 4 securities and now he wants to invest in a particular security. He does not do it in a very random way, like let's invest today in B or D. Okay, no, it does not happen like that. Even if you are not that well, you don't have that much level of expertise or specialization in studying the particular stock, you still try to find out some data, you still trying to follow some trend, the past trends, what company pehle kaisa perform kari thi, kya past mein performance rahi hai, how did the share price move. You use various tools in order to understand the movement either from the past, okay, or the detail. In case you don't have the detail, तो तुम्हें you must be aware of the basic fundas. You don't just you don't just choose these securities randomly by yourself कि आज तो वास्तु मेरा ये है तो ये कर लेते हैं. No, it does not happen that way if you are a rational investor. In case you are irrational investor, then you can do anything. Now let's read it once. Based on the premise, that is the assumption that history repeats itself, movement in the stock prices follow an established trend which can be gauged from the past price and the volume data. As per the technical analysis, future price behavior can be predicted on the basis of past price analysis. So there is like, let's say past में उसका let's take a share of A Limited. ठीक है, तो पास्ट में इसका शेयर का प्राइस नीचे जा रहा था, तो इन्वेस्टर विल अज्यूम कि ये नीचे ही जाएगा. अगर लेट्स से लास्ट 10 इयर्स में ये नीचे जा रहा है, तो देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि ये आगे भी नीचे ही जाएगा. ठीक है, तो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द पास्ट प्राइस एनालिसिस, यू आर एनालाइजिंग द फ्यूचर परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द स्टॉक. Now, technical analysis involves the study of various charts, ratio, patterns to predict the future direction of the stock price. So these will be the tools of the technical analysis which we are going to do today. So you should be very clear about the basic of the technical analysis. कि हम आखिर why are we doing it? What is the purpose of the what is the purpose of this particular analysis, how we are going to do it, and what is the basic assumption behind it. Okay, there are 2 basic assumptions, short term and the history repeat itself. So we can, yes, use the past performance of a particular share in order to predict the future performance of that particular share. Okay, let's try to understand the difference between the fundamental and the technical analysis on these particular bases. Okay, the first basis is meaning. What do you think we were trying to do in the fundamental analysis? We were trying to find the value of intrinsic value. Okay, on that particular basis, we were trying to find the worth of that particular share. Okay, and it was actually based on the particular philosophy that we are going to invest for a very long period of time, and what we are paying today should become at least equal to the intrinsic value of the shares. But in the technical analysis, we are following a basic assumption that history will repeat itself. ठीक है, history will repeat itself. And the stock prices which we are determining would be based on particularly two things, that would be your stock past prices and the volume data. Okay. Okay, the second objective, why were we doing the fundamental analysis? Again, to find the true worth of the security, but we will be doing the technical analysis to identify कि future में security का कैसा trend होने वाले है, क्या prices ऊपर जाने वाले हैं या नीचे जाने वाले हैं, ठीक है? Now the source of information. See, fundamental analysis, जब भी हम बात करते हैं, we always talk about the EIC framework. What is it? Economy, industry, and company fundamentals. ठीक है? So these are the basic information that is provided to us in order to do the fundamental analysis. But when we are doing the technical analysis, we actually don't do such detailed analysis. Rather, we use just the stock market information, whatever information is available to us very easily, like prices, volume. Okay? So can we say that this actually depends upon the external data, whereas this depends upon the internal data, which is actually easily available in the stock market. Next is the type of information. Okay? Type of information is more or less similar to the source of information. Both of them depends upon the secondary data which is available to us. Okay? And fundamental analysis is actually, requires the extensive information. Let's say your macroeconomic information, your industry data, your company data. Whereas when we talk about the technical analysis, we require the data which is actually related and exclusively related to securities only, prices, volume, benchmark index data. So these are the information that is actually related to securities only and not to the company, industries, or any other factor. Okay. Fifth, tools and techniques for analysis. When we were doing the fundamental analysis, we were doing the assessment of economy. Again, we were using the EIC framework. And what were the techniques we were using? The accounting tools. What were the accounting tools? The financial ratios. And we also used the statistical tools, right? Let's say we did the probability distribution, if you remember. Okay. But when we will be doing the technical analysis, we will be using the charts. We will be using the trend analysis. Okay. So these are the basic tools that we will be using, and here we used different tools. Now, what were the kind of information that it was providing us? Where to invest versus when to invest. जब हम fundamental analysis, okay, when we were doing the fundamental analysis, we were basically trying to focus on two things. Is it the right security that I am investing in? Or can I say, where should I invest? Okay, so these were the two basically questions that we were answering in the fundamental analysis. But when we will do the technical analysis, we will be focusing on the timing. When should I buy and when should I sell? Okay, of course, a good investor will try to do both the things. He will try to find out the right kind of security at the right time of investment. Now, time horizon, this is done for the long term and this is done for the short term. Okay. Now, who uses this? Fundamental is actually based, is actually used by the long-term investors. But technical is usually done by the traders, the speculators. Basically, it is done by the short-term traders. What it emphasizes on? Again, fundamental analysis emphasizes on EIC framework, and of course, it does not get influenced by the investors' behavior. Why? Because हम यहाँ पे long term कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? Whereas technical analysis gets definitely influenced by the investor behavior. Why? Because यहाँ पे market and demand of that particular security will help me determine the price of that security. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे investors का behavior definitely influence करता है मेरे analysis को. ठीक है? So these were the basic differences between the technical analysis and the fundamental analysis. Now, these are again the basic propositions of the technical analysis. You just need to read them. Nothing is, too much important. But in case you want to extend your answer, you can just use this particular data. Okay, now where the, actual difficulty of technical analysis lies. सबसे पहले you need to identify the trend. It is actually not very simple to identify the trend. एक दिन में इतनी movement होती है share prices में. So you need to actually identify this particular trend. ठीक है? Recognize when one trend comes to an end and prices start moving in the opposite direction. You need to analyze both the things. कि अगर एक ही trend चल रहा है, तो that particular trend, when will it come to end? ठीक है? And finally, the prices will start moving opposite, or it may be vice versa. आज अगर price ऊपर जा रहा है, तो it may be possible कि ये नीचे भी आए. ठीक है? तो you need to recognize, you need to identify कि ये point कब आ रहा है. ठीक है? जब movement opposite हो जाएगी. ठीक है? So it is actually not very simple task to do the technical analysis. It is rather very risky and very detailed kind of study and knowledge that you require. Now, we will be doing different tools for the technical analysis. Basically, it would be charts. There would be different kinds of charts that we will be using throughout our presentation. And the basic funda of this particular chapter is to understand these charts only. We will be using the bar chart, the line chart, the candlestick, okay, and many more. Okay, before we move forward, I would like to actually, introduce you to these particular terms. What are this? See, सबसे पहले let's say एक share है of A Limited. ठीक है, एक line पे उसे बनाते हैं. Let's say this is being traded in your security market. ठीक है. Okay. Sorry. See, now what is the open price? The open price is, let's say today is 7th May and आज के share market इस particular share को लेके it opened at your 100. ठीक है. What is the close price? At the end of the day, this share के prices touched to 150. ठीक है, sorry, closed down at 150. So closing open price जब share market खुली तो कितने का share था? Close price जब share market बंद हुई तो कितने का price था? ठीक है. Low price. What is the lowest that it has touched in that day? Let's say it has touched 90 in that particular day, and highest it has touched the 170. Okay, so this is how you need to understand these particular terms. In this particular chapter, we will be covering the 5 kinds of charts: the line chart, bar chart, point and figure, candlestick, price and volume. Okay, I think we can get a short note in this particular topic, and what all you need to write is that you can write just an example, you can write advantage, you can write disadvantage, you can write meaning, what are the elements covered in that particular chart. Okay, and hence you will be able to cover the 5 to 6 paragraphs and you will be done with the short note. Let's try to understand each chart in detail. The first one is the line chart. Let's understand the line chart. Line chart पे क्या होता है? See, this is the time that would be shown on the x-axis. This could be in the form of the day or it could be in the form of a week. On y-axis, we are showing the stock prices. Okay, so these are the stock prices. Now, line chart में क्या होता है? See, I have told you there are four kind of prices: the high, the low, the opening, and the closing. Okay, in this particular kind of chart, we are only concerned about the closing price. What we do at the end of the day, whatever the closing price, we just plot it on the graph and we just join the lines. Okay. Now, what do you think is the advantage? Of course, it is very convenient. Why it is very convenient? Because you just need to observe the closing price and you will be done with that particular chart. What are the disadvantages? Disadvantages that once it is only telling you about the closing price. What interpretation should I make about the rest of the prices? Okay. The second disadvantage is that it does not tell anything about the intraday volatility. What do you mean by intraday volatility? Is that what actually happened throughout the day? Did it go up? Did it go down? Did it remain constant? So just knowing about the closing price is not enough to do analysis. You need to also understand the intraday analysis. So this is the meaning, this is the axis. You can give the example. These are the advantages and disadvantages, and that's it. See, this is the Reliance industry that I have taken out. This is the line chart of the Reliance industry, and they have just these are your days, these are your stock price, and they have just made a closing price and they have joined the graph. Okay. The next kind of chart is a bar chart. The limitation of the previous chart was that it was showing only the closing price. Okay, but now the bar chart has overcome that limitation and it shows all the prices. Though in this particular example, we have covered only the three things, that is high, low, close, but you can also cover the opening one. Okay, now understand the particular concept. What is it? See, on day one, let's say the market opened at 10. Okay, do not consider this particular thing because I am explaining with the help of another example. Okay, the maximum that it went throughout the day was 50 and the lowest it went was 5 and the closing price was 20. Okay, so this is how you are representing your figures on the particular graph. This is known as your bar chart. Okay, you can show the open price and others have to be compulsorily shown. Okay. See, why did they not show me the open price? मतलब इसी example में why did they not cover? They are saying that open price of a day is equal to the closing price of previous. Make sense? यहाँ पे अगर मैं open price लिखने पे आई तो day 2 का open price क्या होगा? 14. ठीक है. So this is why it is not shown in the bar chart generally. ठीक है. Now the third kind of graph that we are going to do is the point and the figure chart. See, X, you need to remember this. X denotes the increase in the share price and O implies decrease in the stock price. Okay. Now let's say on the day, see, अब क्या हो रहा है? The shares are increasing. ठीक है. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So whenever there is an increase in the price of a share, we make X. Let's say we are here now. We have made 50 tak. Now there is a decrease in the price. We will shift to the second column. We will say this is how it is shown. Now there is a downward movement. Okay. Now again there is an increase in the movement. Okay. So when am I changing my columns? I'm changing my columns when there's change in the direction. What do I mean by change in direction is that initially prices were increasing. ठीक है. Now if the prices starts declining, then we will switch on to the next column. Understood? What is the advantage? The advantage is that it can actually compress a large volume of data in just a small group. What do I mean? See, I have actually captured such an large increase. This is just not this. There is a huge increase. हम ऐसे ऐसे cross लगाते रहते हैं. ठीक है? So I am capturing the huge volume of data just in a small group. Just by looking at this, I have analyzed such large number of movements. ठीक है? So you can just notice कि हमने कितने ज्यादा डेटा को एक स्मॉल ग्रुप में इंटरप्रेट करके खत्म कर दिया. Now let's move on to the next, which is the candlestick charts. Sorry. Okay. Now let's move on to the candlestick charts. Candles are shown for every day. Okay, remember this. And they are shown for all the 4 prices. Okay. Now let's try to understand it with an example कि ये कब black करना है, कब ये white करना है. ठीक है. Let's say इसी से लेते हैं. Opening price is 16. तो ये हम ऐसे अपने बना लेते हैं. ठीक है. हमने कहा opening हमारा 16 पे हुआ है. The highest it went was 20 and the lowest was 16. Now the market opened at 16 and it closed down at 14. Are you at a loss or are you at a gain? You are definitely at a loss. ठीक है, तो आप क्या कर दोगे इसे? Black. Now how will you remember it? कि ये मुझे black कब करना है and white कब रखना है? See, whenever there is loss, remember black clouds. ठीक है? Whenever there is gain, you can just easily remember everything seems to be happy, everything seems to be clear in the sky. Okay, so sadness is for the loss and it's for the black clouds, whereas gain is for happy and for the clear thing. Okay, I hope this makes things a bit simpler for you. Now the last is the price and volume chart. Price and volume chart is the simplest. Why? Because everything remaining same, you are just showing the volume in the same chart. Okay. Why was this chart required? This was required because it has provided me information about the volume of the trading. Okay. At what volume these shares have been traded, at what price these shares have been traded in the market. So these are the volumes that they have represented. Okay. Again, they have made this using the high, low, and closing and opening prices. So that's it. These were the 5 charts that you need to remember. The first is line chart, then the bar chart, then your what is it called? Point and figure chart, the candlesticks chart, and finally price and volume chart. Now let's move on to our slides. Next are the technical indicators and technical chart patterns. This I will cover in the part 2 video because otherwise this video will go too long. Again, this would be covered in part 2. Let's quickly discuss the limitation of technical analysis. These are very easy. First of all, you require interpretation skills. Okay? Every investor does not have the interpretation skill. Every common investor does not have that skill. So you need to have that particular skill in order to use the technical analysis. Second, subjective analysis and behavioral biases. What does it mean? That subjective, it may depend from investor to investor. Okay? You cannot be rigid to a particular investor कि अगर ये analysis है तो every investor would actually analyze the same thing. ठीक है? तो behavioral की बात करूँ तो sometimes the investor become overconfident. ठीक है? So these are the biases an investor might face. The third, लेट रिस्पॉन्स जो चार्ट पैटर्न, व्हेन वी आर स्टार्टिंग द टेक्निकल एनालिसिस जनरली हम क्या देख रहे हैं 1 2 3 4 5 days, ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट डे सेकंड डे थर्ड डे, so you need to be very quick, you need to be very prompt, and you have to take a very quick decision. You cannot just use the technical analysis after a certain period of time, you have to act upon immediately, ठीक है, otherwise this technical analysis would become useless for you. The short-term perspective, of course, the main objective, the main assumption of technical analysis was that we are going to use it for the short term. It cannot at all be used for the long term. You have to use the fundamental analysis for that. Now, the last topic is that technical analysis or fundamental analysis, which one is better, which one is superior? See, you cannot just make a decision कि कौन सा better है. This depends upon the needs of the investor. This depends upon the attitude of the investor, whether he is aiming to invest for the long term, whether he is aiming to invest for the short term. ठीक है? So let's quickly read it. And अगर short term के लिए है तो he will be using technical, long term के लिए है तो fundamental. It is not mutually exclusive, they are complementary. Why they are complementary? See, technical analysis complements the fundamental analysis to identify the right time to buy and sell the security which is suggested by the fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis calculate the intrinsic value of a share. Technical analysis क्या करता है? It predicts future price movement, ठीक है, using the past prices and volume data. Fundamental analysis is for the long term, technical is for the short term. So you just in case in question come, you need to write सबसे पहले meaning, horizon, time, objective, and how they are actually complementary to each other rather than being exclusive to each other. Again, thank you for watching today. And the next video I will be uploading by tomorrow, I guess. And in that particular video, I will be covering the last two topics that we have left, which is this and this. Okay? Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.